welcome to another episode of Mine Planning Matters, a podcast where we talk about where the industry gets it both right and wrong when it comes to mine planning and mining engineering. This podcast is not just for mine planners, it's for everyone who has anything to do with mine plans, from those who create them, to those who execute them, and all the way up to those who endorse or sign off on them. My name is Mark Bowater, Director and Founder of Australian mining consultancy Insignia Mining, and I speak from experience, having been involved in mine planning for over 30 years. Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Mine Planning Matters. Now, one of the things that I think about a lot when it comes to mine plans is risk. And I do think that it is one of the under-considered elements of mine plans. People think about mine plans for lots of reasons, have lots of purposes and objectives out of them. But I don't think that we really think enough about that one of the things that should come out of a mine plan is understanding the risk of your operation. And, I've been thinking lately about the fact that when an executive or someone is given a mine plan to endorse or sign off on, what's the first thing that they do, think and ask? Generically, I think the first thing that they focus on is the tons of ore, and is that sufficient? And what does that do to the cost per ton? And so they want to focus on, is this getting what I think we should get out of this mine? Which is fine. I think it's fine to focus on the quantities that come out of the plan. But for me, when you look at those, the first question that I think any executive should ask before they sign off on a plan is, what's the risk in this plan? What's the likelihood that we can actually go and do this? Because if the likelihood is low, then this is a useless plan. Don't give me a plan, with a very low likelihood. I want something that we can go and do. So the first question for me should be, what's the risk in this plan? And I came across some work by a mining engineer recently that I actually thought was really good. And it comes back to, what are the higher level measures that you can check for a mine plan to just see what the risk is, sort of, relatively simply. I've been talking about stochastics a lot and running probabilities and so on, but this is actually a much simpler version than that. And so, for example, this was for an open cut mine, and what this person did was they generated a number of plots of the sink rate, the vertical rate of mining in different areas of the pit, and then how that compared with historically the vertical rates that they had managed to achieve in that pit previously. And so were they planning on a much higher sink rate than what they had ever achieved? Or, it actually sort of tended to match with what they've done in the past, or it was a lot less than what they've done in the past. And I think that's actually a really good and simple measure of risk, right? Are we planning something that's better than we've ever been able to do? And not down at a very detailed level. We build mine plans bottom up. We start with assumptions for everything, and we sequence equipment, and we make lots of decisions, and we carry out very detailed schedules. But this is really at that higher level. It's a bit like a reference class. Let's go back and look at history, and let's not look at it down at that really detailed level of what productivity did we get for that digger and how many hours a day do we get out of it. But just let's look at it when we combine all the activities that happen in an area of drill and blast and waste and ore, and all the other things that have to happen in terms of enabling activities. When we look at it as a big set, how do we go in this area? And that easily applies to any type of mine, open cut or underground. You can grab sort of just what's our general rate of progress? It could be in a decline drive in an underground or anything. When we just combine all the things that we have to do, how many meters per week or per month or something do we normally do? Have we achieved in the past? And what are we got in our mind plan? And so it would be certainly a suggestion from me. I think it's actually a great sort of risk assessment tool for your mind plan. I'll just go back and you choose, your mind, you choose a larger sort of reference set that you can look at historically what you've done in the past, and then how does that compare with what you've got in your forward mind plan.
Thanks for listening to Mind Planning Matters and my thoughts on mind planning. This podcast is for the benefit of the mining industry, and that's you. So I'd love to hear from you through the comments section, and please feel free to let me know any topics you'd like discussed in future episodes. You'll find much more content at our Insignia Mining website, and if you find any of our content valuable, please let your mining colleagues know so they can benefit as well.